Hi, I'm Anne from Game Like a Mother. Today I'm going to give you an overview and a review of Kim Joy's Magic Bakery. It's ages 8 and up, 2 to 5 players, and it takes 15 to 30 minutes. Let me show you how to play. The goal of the game is to complete whatever scenario card you have flipped out on the table. In order to complete your scenario card, you need to fill orders, which you have over here. They give you a guide in the rule book. We have a 2-player game set up here. So there's a variety of these customer cards that you have, and you're supposed to select at random 4 of the 1-level ones from this deck, 2 of the 2-level, and 1 of the 3-level, and they have a handy chart for what you're supposed to do for the other player counts, and then they also have a very handy guide for how to set up the board for the first time you play. So if it's a 2-player game, you just flip over, you shuffle up the cards you've selected, the customer cards, and flip over the top one. You take out the layer cards, and they are sorted according to type and placed along here, and then you take all the ingredient cards, shuffle them up, and lay out 5 face up, and each player is dealt 3 cards, which is supposed to be face down. However, you are allowed to communicate during the game. You can pick up your cards and say, oh, I have a butter, sugar, and a butter. That is completely allowed, but explicitly in the rules, they say don't show them. You can choose to do that. We just lay our cards face up because it's a speedier way to communicate the same information. And then you place Kim Joy in front of whoever was the last player who most recently baked something. They will get to be first player. We'll say that this is the first player, and your first move is to read through the scenario card. In this one, in the very first scenario, you have a kitty on the counter blocking 2 of the spots. And in addition to your actions listed on your player actions card, one of your actions can be to move the kitty 1 spot either direction in order to be able to access the layer you want to bake underneath the kitty. In a 2 to 3 player game, you get 3 actions per turn, 4 to 5, 2 actions. The actions are all listed down here below, and they're things like take an ingredient, a card from the pantry, replace all the cards from the pantry. You can bake a layer for an action. You can fulfill an order, or you can trade, or you can pass a card to another player. It's not a trade. You're giving them a card as one of your actions. So we'll go ahead. Kitty starts here. This player, to start the round, they would take the fruit for an action, and then they would use the butter and eggs. For their second action, they'd take these 3 cards to fill the order. The order would go over here, and they discard the cards. You do not draw another card at this point from here. That's at the end of the round. On the back of the card that shows the player actions, they also have the round structure. So then they'd get to have another thing to do. We should have refilled this after selecting that card. They're going to go ahead and take the Helpful Duck, because the Helpful Duck is basically a wild card. You start with 1 in there, and there are more you can add in as you play if needed, if the round gets more difficult. This person would have their turn. We'll just go ahead and have them grab more ingredients, because that's a really good thing to do if you have nothing else to do early on at the beginning. And then at the end of a round, you get to flip over the next card on the top of a new customer enters the store. Later on in the game, you might have a scenario where you have a few customers in the store, and at the end of a round, you're flipping over one, and you can only have you're a little store, you can only have up to 3 customers in the store, and after that, 1 would get discarded if you can't do it. If you see in the rules here, they have the draw pile, customer row, and then it's a discard pile. So if they get to the next round, 1 gets discarded, but you can look on the card and it shows you how many of the orders you need to fill in order to get certain levels of stars. So if you just fill 3 of these cards, complete 3 of them, you get 1 star for this scenario. If you complete 4 of the cards, you get 2 stars. 5, you get 3 stars. There are a total of 6 cards in here, and it does not matter which of the cards you fill. It doesn't matter if it's a 3 or a 1. There's no point differential. If you fill all of them except for the 3, you'd still get full stars for this. And then the other thing to know is there's stars on the bottom of the cards for garnishes, and that is a special additional action. It has nothing to do with your score at the end of the game or at the end of the round. It has a special action, which on this round with the cat, you get to move the cat as far as you want either direction, and you don't have to use multiple actions. So if you make this and add in the fruit when you complete the order, then you get a freebie bonus action of moving the kitty around. So that's how to play Kim Joy's Magic Bakery. The target demographic for this game is people who love the Great British Baking Show. I'd say it's kind of a family level game, but people who play a lot of board games and are gamers should enjoy it as well. It is very well done. The rule complexity, it's pretty easy to pick up and learn how to play. There are a few charts you need to look at for the first round or two, but then it's essentially the same after that. Nothing changes too much except for the scenario. It was a little tricky with a few of the aspects of the rules, like the garnishes. The first few times we played, we didn't do that correctly because it was later on in the rules. But as a whole, fairly simple, not too tough to get up and running. How competitive is this game? It is a cooperative game. It is not at all competitive, except against the game itself. And that is as challenging as you want it to be if you get a lower level of stars on one of the levels, because they do get more and more challenging as you move along. You can add in more of the helpful duck cards, and so you can really manage your level of difficulty for this game really well. But it's one of those games where as a group of adults you can play together and just you're all in it together. It's not time. It's a cooperative game that is neither timed, and it doesn't require memorizing anything. And so it is pretty mellow and easy, and it seems like everyone has a really good time and does well playing this together. Replayability, high. There are 10 official scenarios to go through, but then at the end of the rule book, if you make it through all of those, there are a bunch of free play options where they have you combine different scenarios together, and there's even an option where you don't use any scenarios and it's just open-ended. So it is whatever you want it to be, and you're not going to get tired of doing the scenarios over and over again. We've taught a bunch of people how to play this, and I've played with 2 people and 5 people. And it's different every time you play. We do prefer a lower player count, especially if you have younger children involved, because there is more sitting around if it does get up to 5 players. And it turns out children get a little squirrely then. But my daughter and I have been working through it 2-player, and we are just having a blast. And for an adult game night, it would work well with more players as well. You would just have chat time, a little more chat time as you played. And finally, for similar games, I would recommend Pushing the Cat, the Perfect Set Collection, the Perfect Pick card game. Is a competitive game, but it's set collection, and it has kind of a similar feel, and the theme is similar enough to this one that it seems that it appeals to the same demographic. Or if you're looking for a more adult game, Quirky Circuits is a cooperative adult game that has many of the same elements here. It isn't timed. That's a little bit more challenging as you go along, but still an excellent game. So we loved Kim Joy's Magic Bakery, so I hope you check it out, and we'll see you next time from Game Like a Mother.